Hello, my name is Gustavo Meirelles. I'm a radiologist, healthcare entrepreneur, and president of the board at IDR, Remote Diagnostic Intelligence. This is another episode of ExpertCast, a podcast focused on healthcare innovation, supported by AGFA. In each episode, I host guests who are experts in topics related to innovation, especially in healthcare. The idea is to keep you up to date with the latest in new technologies in the sector and the upcoming news. In this episode, we'll continue our discussion on From Local Success to Global Impact, the key insights into device innovation and market expansion. We are joined here once again by our esteemed guests, Jasper Van De Sande, Senior Business Consultant and Partner at Suazio and Namsa, and José Leovigildo Coelho, also known as Leo, who is CEO and co-founder at IONIC Health. In the first part of our episode, we explored the challenges and the strategies involved in expanding healthcare innovations globally, and now we'll delve deeper into the role of partnerships, the impact of cultural differences, and the future of healthcare innovation on a global scale. So Jasper, Leo, welcome back here.
Thank you, Gustavo.
Thank you.
So to start the second part, let's discuss the importance of partnerships and collaborations in the success of healthcare device innovations, particularly when entering new markets. And let me start with Leo now. And Leo, I'd like to get some examples of how IONIC Health has leveraged partnerships or collaborations to enhance its market expansion efforts. So you told us here during the first part that IONIC was first a Brazilian company, and then you developed the market expansion here. And then what was the strategy to become a global company, and what were the key partnerships you developed?
I would say, Gustavo, that you need for this global project, first of all, understood, as I told, if your product is scalable and if the problem also happens in the regions. So you need to select the regions, first of all. So you need to select at least 2 or 3 regions. We selected Europe and the US. And after we selected the regions, we decided for local investors for these specifically regions with local connections. After that, we started with some local pilots and validations pilots to understand and feedback the technology. For a medical device, it's a very important procedure to have all this process. And supporting us very strong and technical advisors, legal advisors, regulatory advisors, security advisors, data privacy advisors. So to help your company to address and to navigate on those markets. After getting the first clients that agree to test the technology, you need to have a team strategy to have in each region supporting locally the test and validations. So after that, you have a process to review your product to understand the fit of the product in the region and in your mother region, in our case, Brazil, to discuss a global product roadmap. So during this process, you learn a lot and make tons of questions. So we ran this process in the last 3 or 4 years. And during this process, we understood that after all this technical discussion, regulatory process, and we got, for example, recently FDA F510K clearance, and we are in the process of other regulatory approvals. Sales and scale globally, it's a thing that you need to understand how you handle. So direct sales, channels, etc. And we made an important and very strategic decision last year because we signed an exclusive reseller agreement with a huge global company, that's GE Healthcare. So we only signed that because we are doing our homework of regions, globalization, regulatory, technical, product, etc. And now we are starting the process to have GE Healthcare as a reseller globally, starting in the US. These raise the bar higher and higher. So that's our challenge for now. So really scale the product globally, different regions with a global partner. So yes, I would say that you need to have all topics covered in your global strategy and to question your company strategy and go through each part of to address your mother country and the other regions and the right partner, local partner, global partner, so to fit in your startup strategy. So we are learning a lot about that. Every day, different regions, different cultures, bringing more people in the team from different countries to mix the experience. Language, it's a thing. So in our company now, we mostly speak English compared to Portuguese, mainly in the leadership. So yes, we are learning a lot, Gustavo.
This is great to know. And again, the partnership with GE Healthcare is going to expand the global process that IONIC Health was already doing, in the last year. So I'm sure that it's going to be more and more very well succeeded. And I would like to hear a little bit more about those steps from Jasper now. And Suazio and Namsa are two big companies that help other big companies to get into new markets, to go through regulatory requirements, to understand a little bit more about different cultures and quality standards. So Jasper, I'd like to hear how you balance the need for innovation and speed to market with, the necessity of regulatory requirements and also quality standards of different countries. So companies want to move very fast, and sometimes regulatory requirements and also quality standards or, like obstacles that they have to go through in new countries and also in new markets. So I'd like to understand a little bit more how you help those companies.
Yeah, thank you, Gustavo. Yeah, that is indeed. There's great innovation out there, and everybody wants to launch and get that technology to the market because it helps patients in the end, or the healthcare system in general. So it should also come to the market. But what we typically do with, especially also with startups, is to create also that and also support in that global intelligence of both commercial as in regulatory, in order to really carve out, okay, what should be prioritized first and what can come later. So trying also to assess, okay, what's already available, what are the lowest, let's say, requirements you can meet with the least effort. So it is very important to have that local understanding. And at Namsa and also at Suazio, we have all these local consultants and really local experts who actually also collaborate with the notified bodies and FDA, and so they can really assist in helping the clients in setting that strategy, which is setting also that roadmap for, okay, where can we go, what is needed, what can be done, what cannot be done, and they're finding the I would say the most preferable roadmap and strategy. So there's always a bit of intelligence needed in the beginning, and then collaboration with experts throughout the world to understand this and to map this, and then really execute and trying to get there. And that is not always an easy task, as Leo already mentioned. I can imagine it by really doing it, you experience it. And we also see that from our clients. We have then created a strategy, discussed that was a good strategy, but always there are new hurdles coming up. So I can remember a robotics company, we very energetic entrepreneur, good technology, but very much applicable to only a couple of countries in the world, and that is also interesting to learn. So that's the idea starts somewhere, but it's not always that it is fully scalable or fully applicable to other countries. And That might be from a clinical perspective, but it might also be from a reimbursement perspective. That is just simply not economically available. So that are all elements we will try to map during that assessment phase, and then make a plan, and then try to execute it.
Thank you. And I'm sure you have many different and good examples to tell us about, because you've been doing that for many years and helping big and small companies to navigate the different regulatory requirements and also quality standards from different countries and also within the same country. And I would like to move back to Leo and also hear a little about the progress of IONIC Health, not only in Brazil, but also globally. And I would like to understand, Leo, what were some key factors that contributed to IONIC Health success in expanding its market reach here in Brazil and also its market reach and impact globally?
Yeah, but first of all, I would like to meet Jasper 2 years ago. Jasper will be easier for me.
Yeah, I can hear you talking. Yeah, that is true. We could have helped you, but we still can, right? Because
we still can.
There's probably a lot of growth possibility.
Yeah, I do it everything by scratch. So yes, was a very intense path, and that's a very important topic, Gustavo. The team, the leadership, and all the company, they really need to trust and to view the same globe. It's not easy. So leadership engagement, leadership commitment, not commitment to work, commitment to be global. Commitment to be global, it's out of the box. It's an outlier. Brazil, it's a big country, and you can have multiple big business only in Brazil, because we are a big country, we are a growing market, etc. But to decide to be a global project, company, startup, it's out of the comfort zone. So the leadership needs to really believe and have the same dream, because that's a dream. We are facing multiple challenges with certifications, quality levels, ISOs, MDSAPs, FDA, CE marks, like all security standards, etc., doing the way from Brazil to the globe. And if your team doesn't believe or are not engaging on this process with all the lacks of language, lacks of global experience, etc. So we believe that you need a very strong culture to pass all this process. You need to have your team and leadership completely engaged in a very strong culture. After that, you need to have an open mind that everything that you learn until now doesn't mean that will run in another country or region, because they have completely different standards, completely different rules, completely different requirements. And as Jasper knows, everybody needs to launch new technology, but take times. This medical device world, it takes time. So you need to pass all the process. You need to have clinical, you need to have university, research, quality process, test, validation, verification, and you need to have patience, and you need to have the right direction, because go slowly and then go fast. So that's the process, because that's a very specific environment, and you need to have your leadership engaged and understanding the process, understanding the challenge in different regions, different feedback with a local presence. So I would say, Gustavo, leadership is a very important topic. The second one, it's local partners. I would say in a very broad way, but partners that can be advisors, investors, resellers. And to establish that, you need to start establishing a global network to navigate through that, talking with people that already did this kind of projects. So for us, we have two very important areas. Ohio, Cleveland received our company very well. So we have our office in the U.S., in Cleveland, close to the Case West University, very close to the university hospitals, in a healthcare innovation district. So they received the project very well. So they helped us with all the US support, advisors, tests, labs, and also in Portugal, we established a huge important partnerships with clients, pilots, universities, with a huge medical device experience environment because they have CE mark for a long time. So we established 2 hubs locally. In Brazil, our hub is São José dos Campos. It's a technology park. So we established 3 hubs in the world. São José dos Campos in the technology park. It's a very hard tech environment. In the US, Cleveland, Ohio, that's a very important and huge healthcare hub. And also in the north of Portugal, in Porto and Coimbra, that's a very important hub of medical device as well and software for the market. So yes, you need to find your partners. Then you start exchanging culture, learning process with the team. So you need to have your basis to test and build your agenda. And that's a huge opportunity to build that network with companies like Jasper companies and other startups to build that kind of environment, because these kind of things speed the process.
That's great, Leo. That's great. I was hearing here, and well, you're talking about leadership, and I think this is one of the main points. And well, you as the founder and CEO, you know quite well how difficult it is to engage people and to connect people over the same purpose, and to become a global company, to be conducting meetings in English, not in Portuguese, to leave the comfort zone. So again, those are very important points. And I also like the phrase, which is attributed to Napoleon Bonaparte, to go slow, to go fast. And this is very important, not only for companies, but also for our personal lives. And I'd like to move back now to Jasper and also go with a very similar question. So what advice, Jasper, would you give to startups and emerging companies looking to enter the global healthcare market with innovative products? So Leo was mentioned that he would like to have known you 2 years ago. Well, now you are connected. And also one of the intentions of this podcast is also for new companies, not only from Brazil, but worldwide, to know that companies like Suazio and Namsa, they do that kind of work to help emerging companies, founders, startups. And then, Jasper, I'd like to know the advice you'd give them, startups and emerging companies looking to enter the global healthcare market.
Yeah, advice that I can give. I cannot imagine to be in Leo's shoes, because it can be. I think it can be very, very hard. So persistence is probably the single one, the first advice. But what we see from our startup clients is that they very often are in need of a certain direction, right? So they work they have a new technology. They started this testing this with some advisors or KOLs and tested it out in the market. But then it goes, sometimes the technology is applicable here and applicable there, and where to go now. And what is the best and easiest way to get that first revenue stream, which is so important, and investors would like to see that, right? So that is very often the first advice, is get that strategy clear, like Leo already mentioned earlier. I think it was in the previous session, let's get that couple of targets identified, of markets or indications, or let's even certain areas where you then start focusing on and start building to that, because you cannot do everything at once. And so very often in our discussions with startups and also with investors, we try to help them move them into a step strategy, so that roadmap, and really be consistent with that. that helps. So very often it starts then with doing some basic market research, trying to understand the market, get that opinions, not only in the local market but also globally, the different regions, then assess that regulatory landscape, add that into the mix together with the reimbursement and understanding that whole standard of care and economic situation, and then trying to assess, where is the clinical unmet need, where is the economic viable, and then where are the regulatory hurdles, and getting that together in the single plan is very often what we advise. And a company like Suazio and Namsa can work as a strategic partner in that, and guiding through that process, and also conducting the steps if needed along the way. Or that is absolutely what we stand for. So that is very often an advice. You can do it all your own, and try to build that independently without consultants. Consultants can have the impression that they are expensive, but they also save you a lot of time and can get you. We even have case examples that it can also go cheaper if you do it with a consultant like us, because you save time, you save. You do some risk mitigation. You do not. We have a good approval. You get to work with these experts, so you don't lose also time in your launch planning, and that is also very critical, right? And not only for yourself as a startup, I think, but also for your investors and potential partners or acquirers of your technology. So all that helps, and that very often is a bit of a hurdle when we start discussing with smaller companies. This can be nice, and you can do on this, all that, and that, but you also have to do this and this and that. Big budgets. But they can also do it with steps. You don't have to do it all along the way. And that is a plan you then need to define. So that's really always the single advice is try to get that plan and collaborate with experts to get your product to the market quicker and potentially even cheaper.
That's excellent. Well, thanks again, Leo and Jasper. And I would like to, in the very few minutes here, I'd like to open a space here for the final messages. And then, so let me start with Leo and then Jasper. So Leo, would you have some final messages for, startups, Brazilian companies that want to become global, and a final advice here?
Yeah, I would say raise your bar. So first of all, establish a well track record locally in Brazil. Do your homework. And then raise your bar. Raise your bar, and then Brazil will gain from that. From the person perspective, technology in the market. And the world needs more solution helping the healthcare. And we have here a very creative environment building solutions. So after doing that relevant in Brazil, you should raise your bar and go outside. And as Jasper said, in a very structured plan with very timeline established and very focused and target plan, you should test globally the technology, the solution, the value proposition, because the world needs more solution to help the healthcare worldwide. So that's my message.
This is great, Leo. And now let me move to Jasper. What would be your final message to someone who's listening to us and, want to become an entrepreneur or is already an entrepreneur and wants to become global?
A lot of things already have been said, but I think that an understanding of the market is crucial, right? And if you're trying to launch in a country far away, where you don't speak the language, where you don't know, cannot even read the regulatory requirements online, because it's difficult, and work with somebody who can. shouldn't stop you, right? Because there is so much expertise in the market. There's so many experts out there. It's just about finding them. And indeed, what Leo says, the world needs new innovation. The healthcare system is somewhat under pressure, and I think new technologies can do a lot of time or cost saving or improve patient care and patient outcome. So that is really what we are all here for, I think. So I think that is the key, right? It's not always about you want to have your technology fast on the market, but I think there is you can do that in a very intelligent way.
Thank you too, Jasper. Well, unfortunately, we are reaching here the end of our episode. It was a pleasure to have both of you, Jasper and Leo, here with us today, sharing your insights on healthcare innovation and market expansion. So thank you both for joining us, and I hope to have you again in a future episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow ExpertCast, rate us with 5 stars on your favorite podcast platform, and share the episodes with your contacts and on your social media. This way, we disseminate quality information and help increase interest in innovation and entrepreneurship in healthcare. Thank you for joining us, and see you in the next episode.